Naturally, when playing Super Mario Odyssey, warp pipes get used several times throughout the game. However, I am going to find out the lowest number of times a warp pipe has to be used. Please note, I will be using the following rules. If Mario enters a warp pipe and comes out of another warp pipe, 1 gets added to the counter. If Mario enters a warp pipe and comes out of something that is not a warp pipe, 1 still gets added to the counter. If Mario enters something that is not a warp pipe and comes out of a warp pipe, 1 will still get added to the counter. If Mario does any sort of warping, but a warp pipe is not involved in any way, nothing gets added to the counter. Also, do not forget to click on the subscribe button. The vast majority of my viewers are not subscribed. When the Cap Kingdom is first loaded, there aren't any accessible warp pipes. Because of that, the Cap Kingdom can be beaten without using any warp pipes. 5 Power Moons are required to finish Cascade Kingdom. One way to collect 5 Power Moons is to collect the top Power Moons on the list. Please note, the multi-moon normally requires the player to use a warp pipe. However, there are multiple ways of reaching the boss without using a warp pipe. I am going to show a footage of me doing one of them. I was able to make it through the next 3 kingdoms without using a warp pipe. For each of those kingdoms, I am going to show which Power Moons I collected. The first time Cloud Kingdom is entered, it is just a boss battle with no warp pipes. I was able to take care of the next 5 kingdoms without using a warp pipe. For each of those kingdoms, I am going to reveal which Power Moons I collected. warp pipes the first time it is entered. I was also able to make it through Bowser's Kingdom without using a warp pipe. These are the power moons I collected. I was able to make it through most of Moon Kingdom without using a warp pipe. However, the last warp pipe before the credits looked unskippable, so I took it. However, I did some research and found out it was actually possible to skip that warp pipe. Since a warp pipe has to be used 0 times in each kingdom, 0 is surprisingly the lowest number of times a warp pipe has to be used to beat Super Mario Odyssey.